and it's not just because I'm like a con artist or something. I actually do art. I did paint this. It's pretty fun. My little southern brand. So I always like to start off with this little first question, which is, does anybody remember the first job they wanted as a child? Does anyone want to tell me? Dream job, dream job. How about this table? Firefighter. Somebody else yell something out. What was that one? A veterinarian. Very nice. So whenever I ask this question, I always get nice answers like firefighter, veterinarian. Very cute. Whenever I give my answer of what I wanted to be as a child, it's really awkward. I've only ever met one other person who had the same dream as me, and it's actually Skip. I don't know how it happened to him, but I know how it happened to me. And so my dream job as a child is I wanted to be a stripper. Yeah, I know. It clearly didn't work out. I don't have any rhythm. It's so sad. And my poor parents, the fight to keep me off the pole started young, like first grade. And it's not because they were like bad people or anything, but I was born and raised here in Corpus Christi. Any Corpus Christi natives? Nice. All right, so I have one more question. Does anybody remember a strip club that used to be, here in Corpus called Legs? Dang, that was the most I've ever heard before, y'all. There's always some nasties here who remember it. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, this is a very special strip club. It didn't have a regular billboard. It had a giant 3D cutout of a giant stripper woman, like power posing, and she was huge. You could see her from the highway. And I looked up to her not only physically, but metaphorically. She was my Dolly Parton moment. And so every day, my dad would have to drive under her legs to take me to school. And so one day I told my dad, I was like, Dad, who is she? He sounded like, what does she do? And my dad's like, how do I explain what a stripper is to a first grader? He's like, she dances for the people. I look my poor father in the eyes and tell him, when I grow up, I'm gonna dance for the people. I don't know how he didn't swerve the car into traffic, okay? He drops me off at school and says, don't tell anybody that, sweetie. Walks away. He gets home to my mom, and it doesn't help that my brother comes in the next day. He's like, I want to be a chicken worker. A chicken worker is the guy who fries the fried chicken at churches, okay? He just thought that was amazing. And he was like, we need to move out of this neighborhood now. We gotta get these kids in some clubs, not those kind. Some after-school activities, or they're never gonna move out, okay? And it worked. We moved. They took her down, tear. I miss her. They took her down, and he pushed us to get her education. I got a bachelor's degree in fine arts to teach art. Thank you. And my brother's getting his doctorate, so someone's being better. Sadly, I'm still clearly making poor choices. Here I am doing stand-up comedy, so can't help it. I think because of that, though, I have a different attitude about strippers. There was a time when a cousin started waitressing at a strip club and all the aunts were talking about it, and I was all, good for her! Her dream wasn't squash! And I was all, be quiet, Corinne! When I did my student teaching, I ended up teaching high schoolers, and they try and mess with the teacher. And so one of them, who was getting ready to graduate, she came up to me, and she was like, hey miss, just so you know, when I graduate, you don't know what I'm gonna do? And I was like, yeah, what's your plan? She goes, I'm gonna be a stripper. And I was like, nice. Well, I shouldn't have said that, but I said, that's cool. And I told her, do you have a game plan though? And she goes, what are you talking about? And I was like, well, stripping, you get a lot of money, but it's a tough job. It's hard on the body. Your knees are not gonna last, all right? You wanna have an exit strategy. You don't wanna try and marry some old guy. He's gonna have an ex-wife and kids. They're gonna get in the way of the money. You wanna secure your own bag. I was like, go to business school during the day, get a degree, and then when you graduate, open your own strip club, and you can poach all the good girls. She just kind of stood there and looked at me like, you've really thought about this. And I was just like, I had other dreams before I wanted to be a teacher, other aspirations. I think it's funny because sometimes I will tell this story to all of you people. And there was one time, there was a table right here, and one of the ladies there, I grew up with her daughter. She went to high school with my mom, and I'm like, I'm gonna tell this story anyways. She comes up to me after and she goes, so Corinne, A stripper, huh? And I was like, yes, you were very unaware of the bad influence I could have been on your daughter. And you let us hang out a lot. And she goes, well, I cannot wait to run into your mother at HEB. My mom has been doing curbside ever since.